forecast.
That's right. If you're lucky, we're looking at some storms possibly along the coast to start us off this morning, but an excessive heat warning shows that we will see those temperatures climbing into the 90s once again. Feels like temperatures will definitely be in the triple digits this afternoon. As Meg mentioned, a couple of spotty storms are possible, and for the folks that do get lucky enough to see those, you may have a brief cool down. But once that storm clears out, it's going right back to being hot out there. Live radar shows dry skies for most of the area. Where we do have some storms are in those offshore areas, Terrebonne Bay, Barataria Bay. We're looking out near the Chandeleur Islands, seeing some stormy activity, kind of all around our coastal areas, seeing some storms, but nothing inland. That would be a problem for commuters this morning. Temperatures are in the 70s on the North Shore. We even dipped just below the 80-degree mark there at the airport in Kenner. I don't expect that to last long, though. Temperatures will be on the rise today, likely getting into the upper 90s to near 100 for highs. Back to you.
Apparently a lot of birds there on the North Shore on radar.
No, I don't think those are quite birds, but that you're right, John. That's not rain that we're seeing on the North Shore. That can be anything from bugs to even just trees that are staying still. The radar just extra sensitive this morning. Looking down toward the coast, we do have some rain that's just offshore Plaquemines Parish, Barataria Bay, Terrebonne Bay, offshore Terrebonne Parish. We are seeing rain all across the coastline, but not inland. Inland, we are dry. So looking just a little bit closer, you can see that there are a few storms right near Grand Isle, but and right near Triumph, just offshore. But overall, again, not going to be a problem for commuters rain-wise. Heat will be the problem again today. In fact, an excessive heat warning is a step up from our heat advisory that we've had over the last couple of days. You can see that this will begin still at 9 a.m., go through 7 p.m. So this really doesn't change how you're living your life compared to the past week that we've had those heat advisories in effect. It's just another level of saying, hey, it's going to be really hot outside, and we really want you to take those heat precautions. Temperatures are starting off in the 70s for most of the area, but you can see a few spots like the lakefront and down in Buras are starting off in the 80s and the mid 80s at that. When you factor in that humidity, it's making it feel like the 90s in those spots. Other spots feeling like the 70s and 80s, kind of where we are. But looking at those dew points, we know that it's going to be another humid day out there. And that means feels like temperatures are going to shoot up right around that 9 o'clock hour when the heat, or rather the heat warning, the excessive heat warning begins. That's when we'll start to get into that caution category throughout the late morning, lunchtime, and through the afternoon hours. Without any rain, we could be in that dangerous category as far as the heat index is concerned. So these are those feels like temperatures getting to 105 to 110, possibly higher in some spots. That's why you definitely want to make sure you're taking those heat precautions. Now, rain chances are there today. There will still be some spotty storms, and if you catch one, you may get some brief relief from that heat. But in order to get widespread heat relief, we need rain, and that's what we're going to get next week as a cold front approaches the Gulf Coast. Today and tomorrow, extra hot. As that high breaks down a little bit, less hot. Storms may start a little bit earlier on Sunday, helping us out, and then we'll see those temperatures really falling off considerably. Now, is it going to be cool out there? No. But we will see those temperatures in the 80s as opposed to the upper 90s, so that's going to feel different. Looking at our moisture forecast, you can see not much change between today and Sunday, but notice how those deep dark blues start coming in as we head into early next week. That's our rain chances increasing as that cold front approaches. Models have flipped a little bit, but this morning the American model and the European model both in agreement that this front makes it all the way to the coast, bringing us some drier air for the middle to late part of next week. So possibly some lower rain chances and maybe even some lower dew points. John, Meg?
Well, that sounds good.
That's fascinating. The radar could be trees lighting up?
Yeah, because the radar beam will bend a little bit.
Okay.
And it can actually hit the trees or buildings. I mean, it could be anything that is picking up on bugs. Could be birds too, but a lot of times we see the birds right around sunrise when they're kind of leaving their roost.
So we'll look for that in an hour. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Shelby. Propagation on her radar.
Did I
nailed it.
Yes.
Nailed it. Anomalous propagation. That's what we're seeing. That's those false radar echoes north of the lake right now. No. That's what it's called, really. That's the kind of the catch-all term. So sometimes it's birds, sometimes it's bugs, sometimes it's the radar being bent back toward the ground, and it's actually picking up on trees and buildings and things like that. So that's not rain is the bottom line. What we're looking at is some rain that is along the coast, but inland we're not seeing any storms that would be a problem for commuters, so that's good news this morning. What's not good news is that heat advisory has been upgraded to an excessive heat warning, meaning we definitely want to be paying attention if we're going to be outside today. Make sure, not just for you and the kids and your elderly family and friends, but the pets as well. Make sure they have plenty of water and that they get some breaks in the air condition or in a cool, shady spot as well. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s out there. Your pool cast shows that we are going to see those temperatures climbing into the 90s by lunchtime, so it's going to be a really hot day out there. Once again, that UV index at an 11 out of 12, so make sure you're wearing that SPF 30+. Reapplying it every 2 hours if you're going to be out there that long. A very hot day expected tomorrow, but by Sunday, a few more spotty storms may help us out and take those temperatures down just a little bit. Back to you. Eyes inland right now, but we do have some rain all along the coastal areas. You can see that most of that rain is offshore, but there are a few showers that tried to creep in the very southernmost portions of Terrebonne Parish, southern Lafourche, Grand Isle getting a little bit of rain there. And then we're also seeing some rain kind of knocking on the door of Plaquemines Parish, but for now staying just offshore. Taking a look at that excessive heat warning, this is a step up from the heat advisory, but there is a heat advisory in effect for the coastal areas. The area you see in that sort of pink red color is the excessive heat warning. I don't think this changes much. It is a next step up. We are expected to get a little bit hotter today and tomorrow, but my advice to you is still the same. If you're going to be outside, take those heat precautions. Double check the back seat, drink plenty of water. When your body starts to get fatigued from the heat, get into the air condition. Listen to your body. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s starting us off. So for folks that work outside, even if you're trying to get out early in the morning, maybe for some exercise, you're not getting that heat relief like you should be, especially on the South Shore, where temperatures right now at the lakefront are in the mid 80s. So it's feeling pretty warm and sticky out there with our muggy meter showing dew points in the low to mid 70s. Throughout the day, these dew points may creep up on us a little bit, so get into that humid to sort of tropical-like feel with dew points in the mid to upper 70s. Folks have asked me, well, how bad can it get? Like, what's the worst? Well, the worst I've seen around here is in the low 80s for dew points, which is just really horribly miserable. This is pretty bad, though. Dew points in the mid 70s is definitely a muggy feel, and definitely as those temperatures start to rise, going to add to our heat index. So those feels like temperatures today, after we get past 9 a.m., will probably be above 100. And then if you don't get rain, heading into the afternoon hours, you could get into that 105 to 110 range easily, which is dangerous even for folks who are used to this kind of heat, who live around here and have for years. I know we're used to the heat, but guys, it really does add up and wear on your body day after day. And we've been doing this for over a week now. So make sure that you're taking those heat precautions today. We'll be above average today and tomorrow with highs in the upper 90s to near 100. Temperatures may drop off a little bit on Sunday if those storms get started a little earlier, so highs may be in the mid 90s instead. But when we get real heat relief is when we get an increase in rain chances. Look at this. Rain chances shooting up for Monday and Tuesday of next week, then dropping off behind a potential rare August cold front. Wouldn't that be nice if it can make it all the way to the coast and bring us some drier air? John, Meg?
Sounds nice to me. I like it.
Me too. I can't wait.
Yeah, good.
What a concept. All right, thanks.
We see a lot of that stormy activity right now is offshore. I expect that we could see some of those storms popping up inland later today. But an excessive heat warning, that's a step up from the heat advisory. An excessive heat warning will go into effect at 9 a.m. This doesn't really change how you should handle yourself throughout the day. Make sure you're taking plenty of breaks from the heat, drinking plenty of water, those sorts of things. All the same stuff we've been telling you applies today as well. Temperatures could just get a little bit hotter today, with temperatures starting off in the 80s on the South Shore, 70s on the North Shore. I expect we'll be climbing into the upper 90s to near 100 this afternoon. You can just imagine that when you factor in the humidity, how that will make it feel outside. In some spots, we could even top a heat index of 108, so it could feel really hot out there. Same goes for tomorrow, but some of those spotty storms may start a little earlier on Sunday, helping us to shave a couple of degrees off that thermometer. John?
All right.
Made it to the end of the week, and we are looking at a mix of sun and clouds out there, but unfortunately the forecast is not very different from the rest of the week. We still have a lot of heat expected and not a lot of rain. Look at this. Rain chances along the coast and just offshore are a little bit higher this morning. You can see we're certainly seeing some thunderstorm activity there. I'll zoom into that for you. Grand Isle getting a little bit of rain this morning. Folks in Terrebonne Bay, Barataria Bay, and then just off the coast of Plaquemines Parish seeing some heavy rain as well. But inland, we're not dealing with the rain. So what's next? Well, looks like heat. An excessive heat warning has been issued for most of the Fox 8 viewing area. That heat advisory in effect at 9 a.m. for the coastal areas. Now, this all begins at 9 a.m., goes through 7 p.m. That sounds familiar to you because that's what the heat advisory has been over the last week. What I expect is not much difference. It's still going to be really hot out there. It may just be a little bit hotter than it has been. Temperatures are in the 70s north of the lake, 80s south of the lake. That's about where we've started the last few days. Dew points are in the low to mid 70s. Again, about where we've started the last few days. I've noticed as we get later into the morning, those dew points creep up a little bit, so be prepared for that. That's going to have an impact on your feels like temperature and kind of how hot and sticky it is out there. That heat index or feels like temperature should climb to above 100 by 9 a.m. That's why that excessive heat warning begins then. And then as we get closer to lunchtime, we may be climbing into that dangerous category. That could continue as we go through the afternoon hours. So again, this is a prolonged heat, not just throughout the day, but over the course of the last week, we've had this heat. It's hard for your body to get that relief that it needs. So make sure you're taking breaks in the air conditioner, drinking plenty of water. You guys know the drill. Moisture forecast shows us that while there may be a little blip of moisture tomorrow, I'm hopeful that could do something for us. But it does look like today through Sunday looks pretty much the same. The high pressure starts to break down on Sunday, so that may allow a little of this moisture to kick off some storms a little bit earlier. But really, we won't get widespread heat relief until we see those moisture values go way up as this cold front starts. But bottom line, even if we end up with a rainy week, it's not going to be as hot as it has been.
Cooler. All right, let's keep our fingers crossed. No rain, cooler temperatures.
Wow, that would be nice. For early August, come on, that would be really good.
Is that the kind of thing where the front may not make it quite to the coast, but in the northern part of our area, it might be different than, you know.
Yeah, if it gets stuck over the lake, then the North Shore is looking good and the South Shore is dealing with a lot of rain. So it could be one of those situations as well.
Okay, we'll go with the wishful thinking scenario right now.
The optimistic meteorologist.
We like that. Thank you.
Over to Shelby Latino. I can guarantee you, no matter what she says, it'll be dry and cool in the dome this weekend.
That's a good forecast, Rob. Let's take a look outside right now. We are dry across most of the area. The only spot that we are seeing rain is mostly offshore, actually, along the coastal areas. Looking at our excessive heat warning that will go into effect at 9 a.m. and last through 7 p.m. Excuse me, this really does not change much of what we've been saying over the last week. It's a step up from a heat advisory, just means it'll get a little bit hotter out there in spots, but overall, the same precautions need to be taken. Double check the back seat, take breaks in the air condition when you can, and drink plenty of water. Make sure you have that sunscreen on too. Temperatures are starting off in the 70s and 80s out there, and looking at the next 12 hours, we could get into the upper 90s. So it's going to be a hot one. Make sure you're ready for it. It looks like it could be a hot one again tomorrow, but some spotty storms starting a little bit earlier on Sunday may help to shave a few degrees off the thermometer. Meg? Only a few spotty storms possible. Most of the rain activity is offshore right now. Terrebonne Bay, Barataria Bay, looking out toward the Chandeleur Islands, we've got some stormy activity there as well. And then right off the coast of Terrebonne Parish, we've got some storms as well. But inland, we have not seen any rain out there to worry about, so commuters should not have any slick roadways to worry about. But you do have to worry about the heat because excessive heat warning will go into effect at 9 a.m. today. Same time frame, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. as the heat advisory flurries that we've had over the last couple of days. But I think what's important to note here is that this is kind of an upgrade. So it is going to get even hotter. And while that doesn't really change my recommendation for you, which is just to drink plenty of water, stay in the air condition when you can, or if you have to be outside, make sure you've got a fan or a shady spot, and make sure that your kids, your pets, your elderly family members have all of those things as well. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s out there right now. It is a mild, muggy start. In some spots, a warm and muggy start already. Dew points are in the low to mid 70s, which of course makes it feel even hotter out there. Some of those spots that are starting off in the 80s already feel like the 90s. Our feels like temperatures will quickly climb to above 100 today. That likely happens after 9 a.m. So for the late part of the morning, we'll be in that caution area. And by lunchtime, we'll probably be getting into this dangerous category, which is where I say for even locals, it becomes dangerous if you're not paying attention once that heat index gets above 105. High temperatures are really going to top out high today. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see rain. A few spots may get near that 100-degree mark. Looks like upper 90s for tomorrow and then mid 90s as that high pressure breaks down a little and we maybe see some storms firing off a little bit earlier for your Sunday. I do expect that temperatures will drop off into the upper 80s potentially, which again, that is not going to be cool. That is not going to feel amazing, but it will compared to what we're dealing with now. So this is going to be a little bit of a cool down or a less hot sort of situation. Yeah. Almost all good news, except that it's going to be really hot today.
I know. But, you know, we can get through it.
Yeah.
Well, it is July.
Exactly.
As we said.
It is. Thank you, Shelby.
Contacted them. You're coming over. We're all cooling down. Excessive heat warning goes into effect in just about an hour. All that means is that it's going to be really hot out there today. We're looking at dry skies across the area right now. There is some rain offshore, but nothing inland that would affect commuters. So we are looking good to start off the morning. Temperatures are a little on the warm side, but what's new? We're in the 70s and 80s out there right now. Lots of sunshine. Calm winds for the most part, a little bit of a westerly flow at times, and we know those westerly winds can really ramp up the heat on us. So temperatures today expected to climb into the mid to upper 90s, but as we go through the weekend, I expect that those rain chances will gradually increase, and Monday and Tuesday of next week, we could actually have pretty high rain chances. The benefit of that, it's going to cool us down a little bit. John? You can see the storm in the distance there. I expect that we are going to see a few storms offshore still this morning, but over the course of the day, a few of those will try to pop up inland, and that could help some people out. But most folks are just going to be dealing with that excessive heat, an excessive heat warning going into effect soon, lasting all the way through 7 p.m. This just means it's going to be hot outside. Technically, this is a step up from the heat advisory, but it doesn't really change what we're asking you to do. As you go outside today, make sure you're drinking plenty of water, taking frequent breaks, whether that's in the shade with a fan or in the air condition is the best option. Temperatures are starting off in the 70s and 80s out there and will be climbing into the upper 90s to near 100 today. It's going to be a really hot one out there. Make sure, again, that you're taking those heat precautions. And Kelsey, as I always remind people, double check the back seat. It can get really hot out there really fast, and inside those cars, very dangerous, very fast. We are talking about the heat today and possibly a little bit of rain relief. All right, let's take a look outside from our Riverwalk camera this morning. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like a mix of sun and clouds to me. Live radar shows most of the rain is offshore. There's a little plume of moisture to our east that we'll be keeping an eye on, but looks like we are going to see just a couple of spotty storms offshore. We saw a few more earlier this morning. But overall, I'm expecting the heat to be the problem today, especially early in the day. Looks like we'll see those temperatures soaring, likely getting to the 90-degree mark before lunchtime. Heat warning will go into effect at 9 a.m. Now, you may be saying, oh gosh, this looks worse, right? We've got a red-pink color instead of an orange color today. It's not a heat advisory anymore, it's a heat warning. It means the same. It just means it's going to get a little bit hotter out there. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s to start us off. This is right around where we've started the last few days. I expect it to be another hot day with that muggy meter showing dew points are creeping up on us. We're in the mid 70s across the board right now. That's a very humid feel. And if they go up anymore, it's going to start to feel kind of tropical out there. So mid to upper 70s is really uncomfortable, and it will affect our temperature or our feels like temperature. So it affects that heat index. What it will do is make it feel like the triple digits out there. And it will also start to feel like 105 to 110, putting us in that dangerous category. Again, the only saving grace would be if we could get some clouds and rain. As we head into tomorrow, again, a little plume of moisture to our east may try to clip us, may stay just offshore. But if it does clip us, that could help out with temperatures tomorrow. For now, I'm still going with a pretty hot forecast. Sunday, I think that the high pressure breaks down enough to allow for some storm activity a little bit sooner in the day, which would allow those temperatures to possibly not get quite as hot. All right, but then as we head into early next week, that's where the real moisture comes in. Look at this, all these dark blues indicating that there will be a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, meaning a lot more storms and the potential for heavy rain. May not be what you want to hear after months and months of rainfall, but after this last week of really hot conditions, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Tuesday, we'll still have some of that moisture around, but as we head into Wednesday and possibly Thursday of next week, if that front can make it all the way to the coast, push that moisture offshore, we'll have drier air moving in. And that doesn't just mean drier skies, but like some lower humidity. In early August, what a treat that would be. Temperatures will drop off a little bit as we talked about Sunday, but regardless of whether that front makes it all the way to the coast or if it gets stuck over top of us and we end up having a rainy week all next week, temperatures are going to be lower. But
like you said, we can't be happy. It's going to be too hot, it's going to be too rainy.
Right. In about 6 months, it'll be too cold.
I never complain about the cold, or right before I do, I stop because I remember these days.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I complain about the cold.
Restraint.
Okay.
The cold
That's
studio, yes, but the cold weather outside, no.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right, let's get a check on traffic.
Day. Live radar is not showing much rain, and without much rain, it is going to get hot. A few clouds could help save some folks. A few pop-up storms today could help save a few folks. But outside of that, it's going to be really hot. That's why this excessive heat warning goes into effect starting in about 10 minutes and lasts all the way through 7 p.m. Now, that's not a big difference from what we've been seeing for the last week, those heat advisories versus an excessive heat warning. Around here, it's going to be hot, humid, and you need to take those heat precautions to keep you and your family safe. Lots of sunshine out there to start off the day. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s out there. But if you haven't found your friend who has a pool for the weekend yet, you might want to start calling around because that UV index is going to be high. Looks like we're going to have hot temperatures all weekend long. And I do expect that we could see a few spotty storms out there. So do be aware of those. If there's lightning involved or you can hear those rumbles of thunder in the distance, better to get out of the pool and get inside. John.